So about 8th grade, I started standing up, but I did it the wrong way. I'm going to tell you a story of what happened when I started standing up for myself. And this is the challenge, because as guys, we come from a warrior culture, right? And there's a lot of testing. A friend of mine was in the military, and there was a sergeant who was always mean to everybody. And one day, my friend Mike basically told the guy where to go. And after that, the guy was really nice to him. And later on, my friend Mike said to this guy, "Sergeant, how come you're so mean to everybody?" And the sergeant was like this, "Mike, it's like this. If I give guys a hard time, I can see what they're made of. And if I give them a hard time and they get all upset and whiny and stuff, then I know they're not to be depended on. But if I bust them and they stand up to me, I know they have courage. They have passed the test." So part of who we are as men is that there are tests in life. Other people will test you. Later on, when you start hanging out with women, they will test you, right, ladies? You will, yes, the men get tested. And the question is, can you pass the test, right? In our culture, we can't do that violently anymore. A lot of times, kids who have been bullied will suddenly stand up and they'll fight back, which is what happened to me in 8th grade. But they're the ones that get expelled. Because violence is violence, and it doesn't work. So if you find yourself kind of busting on someone and grinding on them a little bit, you might want to make sure they understand that you actually like them, right? Because sometimes, like, people tease me and I didn't realize they actually liked me. There's like teasing and then there's not like teasing, right? Well, there was this kid, Bill. Bill was a 7th grader. I was in 8th grade. And you've noticed I'm pretty tall. I was pretty tall at that time. But Bill was the size of a refrigerator. I mean, Bill was the size of a refrigerator. And not one of those little dorm room ones either. He was a full walk-in freezer, this guy. He was huge. And he lived next door to a friend of mine in my neighborhood. And I would go over to my friend's house, and Bill would always be there. And he started kind of calling me names. I was not into sports. He called me, this is not what he called me, but it's what I can say he called me here. He called me a sissy, all right? And he just, every time he sees me, he's like, "Whoa, sissy, sissy." And the guy was huge, and I would just I took it for a while, and I was like, it made me feel bad. Raise your hand if you've ever felt bad. Cool! What I'm going to teach you today is going to help you feel good no matter how bad you feel, and it's awesome. Okay, cool. So one day I kind of snapped, and this is the danger of the bullying victim. If you are picking on someone else, be warned that person will remember you negatively for the rest of their lives. So be kind, of course be kind. But if someone is just grinding you, don't do what I did, okay? I'll tell you what to do after this. Let me first show you what not to do. So one day I'd had enough and I said, "You know what, Bill? You're a bully and nobody likes you because you're always picking on everybody, so stop it." And it felt really good to say that. You know? It felt good. What happened next didn't feel so good. Bill said, "Oh yeah? Well, I'll see you at the bus stop after school." Only I didn't hear him say it like that. What I heard was this. "Oh yeah? I'll see you at the bus stop after school." It gets better. It gets better. Work with me here. In my head, I heard this.
"Oh no, he's gonna kill me. My mommy's gonna miss me. Oh no,
I don't know how long your school goes. And young guys in the front, when I'm funny, laugh, and then when I switch, watch how I switch, okay? And switch with me, because I got a lot to do. You guys are awesome, doing a good job. So, what time does your school get out? 3 o'clock, 3:10? Do you know how if your school gets out at 3:10, at 3 o'clock, it seems like those 10 minutes are the longest minutes of the day? It's like the clock started slowing down normally on a school day, right? Sometimes it even seems to go backwards, you know? But on this day, all of a sudden, it was 3:10, and it was time to get on the buses, and I sat in the front of the bus. Bill usually sat in the back of the bus, and I'm sitting there going, and in my head I heard Bill, I'm going to eat you up. So I get on the bus, all the other kids get on the bus, Bill gets on the bus, and I'm sitting like this. He sits in the back, bus drives away, and we get to my bus stop. I've been thinking it's just gonna be me and Bill. I get off the bus, and I'm ready to run. I mean, run. He was a big guy, I didn't think he was that fast. He was fast. He was really fast. But I couldn't run because the entire school bus got off at my bus stop. Now today, I don't know if a bus driver would allow that because it was obvious something was going on because these kids didn't get off at my stop. They got off like 4 stops farther. And they all got off and they formed a circle, and I had challenged him. I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I had seen Muhammad Ali on TV, flip like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And that's how old I am, by the way. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And he just grabbed me, threw me on the ground, and sat on me. He sat on me, and he's like, you know, I could punch your face in right now. And he could have. And luckily, the kid that lived next door, Ken Fulci, who I will always remember with gratitude, said, Bill, let him up. And Bill did, which was a good thing, because Bill wasn't really a bad person. He was just testing me. He was grinding me. And sometimes what we think of as bullying is just that. And sometimes it is bullying. And sometimes it's hard to know the difference. And the thing is, I didn't ask any adults for help. I tried to handle it on my own, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I could have gotten really hurt. I could have had to have like reconstructive surgery because the guy's hands were the size of bowling balls, you know? So the other little piece of this story, and there's been a lot of scientific research that proves this. I won't go into the studies about it, but one voice of dissent, one voice saying, hey, don't do that, is often enough to stop a situation that could turn really ugly. So I want you guys to remember that, just kind of tuck that in the back of your head. So if you're ever in a situation where 2 people are kind of going at it, you can be that voice. Sometimes it takes courage to do that. But Ken Fulci, I'm convinced, saved my life. And from that point on, this guy Bill never bothered me. However, it would have been really nice if I'd had a different way to deal with the things he said to me. So that's what I want to talk about now. You guys ready? Yeah. Okay, I gotta watch my time because I have about 9 days worth of material here.